Renting versus buying a home in 2026. The 7% rule explained. Buying a home has always been called the biggest decision of your life. People say renting is throwing money away. Others say buying a house is the smartest investment you will ever make. But in 2026, things are not that simple anymore. Interest rates are high, homes are expensive, rent keeps rising, jobs feel uncertain. So the real question is not renting versus buying. The real question is which one makes sense for you right now. That is where the 7% rule comes in. In this video, we will break down the 7% rule step by step, explain how it works in 2026, and help you decide whether renting or buying is the smarter move. Without emotion, without myths, and without bad advice. Part 1. Why this decision is so confusing today. Let us start with the problem. In the past, buying a home felt simple. Prices were lower, interest rates were reasonable, jobs were stable and predictable. But in 2026, everything feels different. Home prices are still high in many cities around the world. Mortgage interest rates are much higher than they were just a few years ago. Property taxes and insurance costs keep increasing. Many people work remotely, change careers often, or rely on contract work. At the same time, renting is also expensive. In some cities, rent feels like it goes up every single year without warning. People feel like they are running in place. So many people feel stuck. Should I buy and lock myself into one place? Or should I rent and keep my freedom? This is why emotional advice no longer works. Old rules no longer apply. You need math. You need clarity. You need a simple way to compare. Part 2. What is the 7% rule? The 7% rule is a simple method to compare renting and buying using realistic costs. The idea is simple. If the yearly cost of owning a home is more than 7% of the home value, renting is usually the better financial choice. If the yearly cost is less than 7%, buying may make sense. That is it. No complex formulas, no guessing, no emotional pressure. But where does this 7% number actually come from? To understand that, we need to look at the real cost of owning a home. Part 3. The hidden costs of owning a home. When most people think about buying a home, they focus on only one thing: the monthly mortgage payment. But that is a mistake. Owning a home comes with many costs that people ignore or underestimate. These costs matter, especially in the first several years. The 7% rule includes 5 major costs: mortgage interest, property taxes, maintenance and repairs, home insurance, opportunity cost. Let us go through each one slowly. Mortgage interest. When you buy a home with a loan, you pay interest to the bank. In the early years of a mortgage, most of your payment goes to interest, not to ownership. You are paying the bank, not building equity. In 2026, mortgage rates are still high compared to the past decade. Because of that, interest alone often costs around 4% or more of the home value each year. Property taxes. Property taxes never disappear. Even after you fully own your home, you still pay taxes every year. This cost exists forever. On average, property taxes are around 1% of the home value. In some cities and countries, it can be even higher. This is money you must pay no matter what. Maintenance and repairs. Homes age over time. Roofs leak. Water heaters fail. Appliances stop working. Paint fades and walls crack. A common rule is to save 1% of the home value every year for maintenance. Some years you might spend very little. Other years you might face large, unexpected bills. This cost is real and unavoidable. Home insurance. Insurance protects your home from disasters and accidents, but insurance is not free. Home insurance usually costs around 0.5% of the home value each year. In areas with floods, fires, or storms, it can be much higher. This cost continues every year. Opportunity cost. This is the cost most people ignore. When you buy a home, you put down a large amount of money up front. That money could have been invested elsewhere. It could be in stocks. It could be in a business. It could be in index funds. If that money could earn 4 to 6% per year, the lost return is a real cost. This is called opportunity cost. It is usually around 1% or more each year. Part 4. Adding it all up. Now let us add these costs together. Mortgage interest around 4%. Property taxes around 1%. Maintenance around 1%. Insurance around 0.5%. Opportunity cost around 0.5 to 1%. Together, these costs add up to roughly 7% per year. That is where the rule comes from. It is not random. It is based on real, ongoing costs. Now we finally have a fair way to compare renting and buying.
Part 5. How to use the 7% rule. Using the rule is very simple. First, take the price of the home you want to buy. Second, multiply that price by 7%. The result is your estimated yearly cost of owning that home. Now compare that number to how much rent you would pay in a year for a similar place. This simple comparison gives you clarity. Part 6 example. In 2026, let us look at a real example. Imagine a home costs $400,000. 7% of $400,000 is $28,000 per year. That equals about $2,333 per month. Now ask yourself one question. Can you rent a similar home for less than $2,333 per month? If yes, renting is likely the smarter choice. If no, buying may make sense. This removes emotion and focuses on facts. Part 7. When renting makes more sense. Renting is often the better choice if you plan to move within 5 years. It also makes sense if home prices are extremely high in your area. High interest rates also favor renting. Renting is better if you value flexibility and freedom. It is also useful if you want to invest your money elsewhere. Renting gives you peace of mind. No repair costs, no surprise bills, no property taxes, no stress about selling. In many cities in 2026, renting is actually cheaper than owning when you apply the 7% rule. Part 8. When buying makes more sense. Buying can make sense if you plan to stay in one place long-term. It helps if you get a good interest rate. Buying works better when rent is very high. It is useful if you value stability and control. Buying also makes sense if you enjoy owning your space. Buying is not only a financial decision, it is emotional as well. Pride, security, stability. These things matter, but they only matter if the numbers do not hurt you financially. Part 9. Common myths to ignore. There is a lot of bad advice around housing. Myth 1. Renting is throwing money away. Reality, interest, taxes, and repairs are also money you never get back. Myth. 2 homes always go up in value. Reality, prices can stay flat for many years. Myth 3. Buying is always smarter. Reality. It depends on math, timing, and personal life choices. Part 10. Final thoughts for 2026. In 2026, smart decisions are not emotional. They are intentional and informed. The 7% rule does not tell you what to do. It helps you see clearly. Renting is not failure. Buying is not guaranteed success. The best choice is the one that fits your lifestyle, your finances, and your future goals. Before listening to opinions, run the numbers, because the smartest home decision is the one you truly understand. Take time to think about your own situation carefully. Think about your income stability, savings, and long-term plans. Think about where you want to live and how flexible you need to be. Housing is not just numbers, but numbers protect you from regret. A calm decision today can save you stress for years. Do not rush because of pressure from family, friends, or society. Every market is different and every person is different. The goal is not to win an argument. The goal is to build a life that feels secure and sustainable. When you understand the cost, you gain confidence. And when you gain confidence, you make better decisions. Use tools like the 7% rule as a guide, not a command. Let logic lead and let emotion follow. That is how smart choices are made in 2026 and beyond. For your future.